Welcome to this week's RVonAV. This week we're going to be talking about InfoComm. Here to give us a preview is Rich Ventura, we have Mark Bonifacio, we have John Garmendi, and Scott Adelot. So if you could all just give us an introduction, please.
Sure. Rich Ventura, the Vice President for B2B for Sony for North America.
Thanks, Allison. I'm Mark Bonifacio. I'm the Director of Business Management, working for Rich, and basically in charge of marketing and operations for the B2B group.
Thanks, Mark. John Garmendi, Senior Manager for Sales Support Engineering and Consultant Relations.
And I'm Scott Adelot. I'm responsible for our distribution, our national service providers, and our national accounts.
Well, thank you all for joining us. So the topic today is InfoComm. It's been 3 years since we've been to InfoComm. What's changed?
Oh, what hasn't changed? It is crazy to think, 3 years. I mean, it's really going to be an amazing opportunity. When you look at what's different about Sony, and I won't even go back 3 years, we go back even a year ago, is really about solutions and talking about our partnerships and our ecosystem, and you're going to see that in our booth. Whether you're looking in our projection area, you're looking through our professional displays, our direct view LED, our cameras, everything's going to be talking about solutions, applications. You're going to see a lot of technology and alliance partners, which is really new for Sony to do. And it tells the new story that we really have to talk about. It's not so much about a device or a gadget. It's how are all these devices, how are these gadgets, how is the software all working together? And we talk a lot about the convergence that's happened of IT and AV. And a perfect example is one of the products we're going to be showing there, a spatial reality display. It really is a convergence because you're looking at software that's going to be interacting with displays and in applications that we've never thought of before. And as you walk through the booth and as you spend time with the Sony personnel, what you're going to see is a new story. It's a new Sony. It's our goal is we want people to spend time with us to see all the great things that we're doing and see what our partners can do.
Well, it's great to have you on board for an InfoComm finally, since you've really transformed the business over these last few years.
It's an interesting journey. I think everybody in this team, I've been fortunate enough to be part of it from a lead, but really it's everybody in this team has driven this change. And, we missed out the coming out party last year. This year we're full steam ahead. We are going to make very big statements at the show with our partnerships and a lot of just the way Sony is going to be shown to everybody.
So this year, what are the hot topics at InfoComm? And how is Sony supporting some of those trends through our booth?
Well, as Rich mentioned, we are focusing a lot on solutions and the partnerships, but it does start with the products as basically the foundation of that. So we all know InfoComm as primarily a display show. Historically, it certainly has transformed over the past few years, and it continues to transform. But going through the products, we start with our projector lineup. So we have industry-leading laser projectors, and we're going to show basically three classes. We have our introduction, basic installation fixed lens projectors, as well as our interchangeable lens projectors, and then we have our flagship 4K 10,000 lumen projector, which is ideal for planetariums or museum applications or simulation. As we move over to the Bravias, or our flat panel displays, we've really expanded that lineup quite a bit in the last year, going now from 32-inch to 100-inch. We have 3 different series of product, from a consumer crossover to 2 professional series. And they're basically all system on chip, Android-based products that allow us a lot of those solutions with third-party digital signage and collaboration partners that a lot of it we could run right on the display. So you'll be seeing that in the booth. We've also expanded over the last year our crystal LED product, our direct view LED product, with 2 new series. So we will have a 4K screen in the booth that will be highlighting some stage presentations we will have. And we will also have full HD of both series, so you can do some comparison of picture quality. Rich mentioned the spatial reality display. And the last part of our booth is focused really around image capture. So Sony is really an imaging company at heart, from capture to the delivery, whether it's in, they say on the consumer side, from lens to the living room. On our side, it's from lens to the boardroom or the meeting room. So we have our SRG line of pan-tilt zoom cameras, as well as box cameras and POV cameras to really capture the highest quality imagery. But what's changed in the past couple of years, and those that maybe attended InfoComm 3 years ago or 4 years ago might remember we introduced a product called the Edge Analytics appliance. So we're not just capturing imagery now, we have a box that analyzes the image that's being captured with our Sony cameras, and it enables you to do things like auto tracking of a presenter or handwriting extraction. If you were pointing it at a whiteboard, you can basically capture in real time what's being written. It also has a chroma keyless production element. So those people that have been working at home for the past couple of years, there's a few of us out there, right? You could be doing a live production, and instead of having your backdrop, you could add any backdrop you want, whether that's video or still, without having to have a green screen. And we have like a zoom in gesture software as well. So if you were in a classroom and somebody started speaking, it could basically zoom into that person that was speaking. So a lot of interesting solutions we have.
Well, that Edge sounds like an all-inclusive product that's perfect for the new hybrid and remote working environments. So is that something that people should put on their must-see list for InfoComm?
Absolutely, I think so. And outside of our booth, we will also be in the InfoComm Technology Showcase area doing a session on that. And we will also have a TED Talk on that product within our booth for people that want to learn a little bit more about the product without necessarily doing a full demonstration.
Perfect. It's one of those products you have to see to believe, so I hope people do stop by and check it out. You'll also be seeing something new from us in the Bravia area. Can you tell us a little bit about Bravia?
Sure. One of the big things that when I came on board, one of the things we really wanted to challenge is how do we work better with other companies? We can't do it all alone. Nobody can do it all alone. They all try and they fail. And one of the things we looked at was creating this partner alliance program. And when I look at alliance partner programs, the most important thing is we have to define what is that stickiness, what's that glue, so that if we go in together to support a customer, they see the value. They go, oh yes, Sony Bravia and this software, or this touch overlay, or this camera, they see the stickiness to it. And so we built out this program, and there's really two parts to the alliance program. One part are these deeply embedded partners, real alliance partners. And then we have our compatibility partners, just as important. The goal is to help us really optimize and drive overall solutions. And you're going to see that through the booth. It doesn't matter what area you're going to be in. You could be in our collaboration area, and in the collaboration area, you're going to see integration with collaboration solutions. So whether it's with camera, it's video collaboration software, you name it. Some of these companies, Cisco, Crestron, Pexip, Logitech, not small companies, right? Just like Sony. A lot of great integration that we're doing with them. Then you go over to our digital signage space. And in our digital signage space, we're showcasing key partners, AppSpace, SkyKit, Corbett, Navori, Spectrio. They're running their product, like Mark said, natively on our displays. And we're showcasing just how powerful the Bravia displays are, and even how much more powerful it is when we tie in these partners. Everything that's in that digital signage area is also going to be tied to verticals, and that really aligns with our vertical strategy and how our partners attack verticals. So we're looking at healthcare, transportation, retail, education, corporate, those markets that most people who are attending are either serving as an integrator, or they actually are coming from that and they want to see solutions that they need. You're going to be able to see all of this in our space. And that's probably one of the most exciting things is when people come into our booth, it's not just looking at how beautiful our Bravia displays are, they're also looking at how powerful our Bravia displays are, how universal our Bravia displays are, and how powerful the relationships and partnerships we have are.
Absolutely. And I think that makes it even more powerful that we've aligned with some of the industry leaders and that you'll have some visibility to their solutions in our booth as well. So keeping on the display topic, I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the hottest topics right now, which is DV-LED. John, do you have any insights that you could provide on DV-LED?
For sure. As Mark mentioned, we're going to have our next generation direct view LED, as we call it, crystal LED. In the booth, we're going to have both a large 4K wall and two smaller 2K walls. And our CLED product, as we call it, this next generation really incorporates and maintains all of the unparalleled video quality that we had in the original version of CLED, but then brings it the next step. And we've got kind of two flavors, if you will. We've got CLED-C, which is the contrast, where we focus on the contrast aspect of the display, and that's really suited more towards corporate environments, lobbies, different types of applications, transportation, and so on. And then we've got the B series, which is the emphasis more on brightness. And the B series is something that we're targeting towards higher brightness environments, virtual production environments, esports, and those areas where you're using it as a backdrop for a production environment. And even, we're seeing a trend where even in the corporate space, a lot of studio productions now being moved back in-house. And they're even creating their own sort of mini virtual production environments. So there's a lot going on there with respect to Crystal LED.
And that's another one of those products that if you have a chance to stop by the booth, it's so immersive and you really have to check it out for yourself in person. Speaking of displays and cool Sony technology, I know Rich mentioned it earlier, but can we talk a little bit more about the SRD display and what that is?
Sure. The SRD display, it stands for Spatial Reality Display, and it's a very unique technology that uses an eye sensing application, and it tracks the position of the viewer's eyes to provide them with a clear and sharp 3D image for both eyes. And it really lends itself to some very interesting applications in both virtual reality, augmented reality, and other types of content creation. It's won, as you might have heard, it's won a couple of awards, both at CES and very recently at NAB. And I would say that this is probably for any kind of graphics designers, architects, consultants, folks who are designing museum displays. This is going to be a must-stop and a must-see product.
Perfect. Well, definitely have a lot of must-sees in our booth this year. So shifting gears a bit, Scott, I don't want to leave you out. So how are we reaching beyond our traditional outreach to customers? What are we doing that's different to interact with our customers this year?
Excellent question. Thanks, Allison. So we're a big believer in trade associations. So Sony's made some nice investments in trade associations over the last year or so. So for example, I'm going to just name a few of them: GPA, Global Presence Alliance. So the sales team, we're constantly getting opportunities for global deployments around the world, and we have a very good relationship with AVI Systems, who's the U.S. Designee for that territory, and therefore through that we're able to deploy products all around the world. So GPA is an important trade association that we have made an investment in. AVIXA, of course, which is really, probably the biggest cheerleader of Pro AV. Of course, we're involved in that. AVIXA is setting standards, setting certification, doing trade shows, providing market intelligence. We are deep in AVIXA and are a big believer in that association. Digital Signage Federation, really the leading voice for the digital signage world, which does a phenomenal job educating in the world of digital signage, which is constantly changing today, and is a fantastic footprint for in-person events, which is obviously something we're all very much wanting to do and are starting to do again. So I also look at another trade association, Nsca, National Service Contractor Association. So that's another fantastic group where you have contractors, service providers, consultants, all together in in-person events. We are very deep into that group, and that is something that we have invested in and we're going to continue to invest in. And then finally, USAV, which is a network of many different dealers who work together. Sony invests in that too, where they can work together as far as working on projects where maybe one partner can't do a service deliverable, but the other one can. We get involved in that. It is an excellent footprint that, again, Sony has invested in, and and it's working out well. So if I look at all these things, this is a great way for us to touch lots of different current and potential customers, and we will continue to make those investments.
So it sounds like between some of the partnership strategies we have and some of the alliances and also some of the groups that we're working with, we're really speaking to our customer at every level, and we're involved in the community at from a whole new aspect than we have been in the past. So it sounds like we're going to be very involved with a lot of different partnerships and new organizations. So you're going to see a new side of Sony at InfoComm this year. Is there anything else that you expect for our audience to see at InfoComm this year that you wanted to touch on, Rich?
Well, definitely the tech stage. This is kind of the heartbeat in the center of the space. And what we decided to do was we didn't want to have a stage in the center of our booth that was a speed and feed stage. I didn't want presentation after presentation of just speeds and feeds. We had a real simple goal when I laid out the plan with the team. I want our booth to be the destination. It's great that everybody's going to go visit all these other booths, but I want everyone coming to Sony. And what we decided to do was take the center spot of our booth, and it's got a beautiful 4K LED wall behind it. And what we're going to be doing on Wednesday and Thursday is we're going to have panels and TED Talks happening. And on Friday, we're going to have another panel and also a nice little private conversation I'll talk about in a second with myself and Dave Lubuskis. The goal, though, with these panels on Wednesday and Thursday, to give you an idea, we have a consultant panel. And we have 4 industry-leading consultants. And that panel is being moderated by Tim Albright from Aviation. So we're excited. Tim's just a great friend of Sony. He's a great friend of the industry. The next panel we have is an inclusion experience panel. And this panel is going to be, I think, extremely important. It's important for Sony because we have such a strong emphasis on DEI and supporting everybody in the industry. And this panel is going to have is being moderated by Paul Florangis from the DSF, and we're going to have representation from Avixa's Diversity Council, the women of Avixa, and a few other individuals. And I think this is a conversation all of us should be having. It shouldn't just be a once a year conversation. We should always be having this conversation. The third panel is going to be our end user panel. And this is great because we get to have some of our end users talk about how much they love Sony, which is always great to hear. And this is being moderated by Dave Haynes from 16.9. Another industry pundit, another great outlet from content that's going out there. The next panel we're going to have is an alliance partner panel. And this panel is a little different. This is going to have some of our technology alliance partners talking about industry trends and why they work with Sony. And I will actually share who's going to be in that panel. We've got Crestron, SkyKit, Corbett, and Spectrio. So we've got digital signage, control, room monitoring, all these different things. And this is being moderated by Gary Kay. And Gary's just gnawing at the bit of getting on this one. He can't wait to start with this group. We're also going to have alliance partner speakers. We're going to have TED Talks by 3 different partners, Crestron, AppSpace, and Navori. And they're going to be doing TED Talks. And they're going to talk about the relationship and the integration with Sony. Followed by that, we're going to have product seminars. We're going to have these product TED Talks led by our SSE team. And they're going to be talking about Bravia and business projectors and CLED and Edge. And there's going to be each day, we're going to have 4 TED Talks on Sony products, 15 minutes on each day on Wednesday and Thursday. On Friday, I actually get to go up on the stage finally because I'm going to be watching from the distance for 2 days. And we're going to do an InfoComm wrap-up. And we're going to have industry leaders from the other manufacturers. So they're going to be coming up here talking, as well as I believe we also have a consultant also coming up. And we're going to talk about what did they see? What are those trends? What are the trends that we're all seeing as an industry, and how is it continuing to go? And then we're going to close that with a conversation with myself and Dave Lubuskis. Dave's been a huge supporter of Sony forever. And I think it's a great way to end the show, is to have a conversation with the man in charge of the week and see, did it meet his goals, did it meet our goals, and what did we all accomplish? And so we're really excited about this conversation, and the goal is having dialogues and telling stories and not standing up there and talking about brightness and contrast ratios. Like I said, our goal is everything we do, whether it's in these or in showcasing the product, telling a story and making people want to spend time with Sony, and not just do the normal flybys you do in trade shows.
Well, it sounds like we have a lot in store for our audience at InfoComm, but I wanted to ask each of you, what are you most excited about at the show this year?
Well, besides the most obvious is that we all get to get together. And it's been 2 years since or 3 years since we've had InfoComm together. That's a huge opportunity just to be face-to-face with our customers, our partners and stuff. But more importantly is we're showing the strength and power of what Sony is. And these last 2 years, there's no secret, we've really redesigned our B2B organization, and we have just some most amazing products in the industry. And this is really our opportunity to show how those products are working, how we can solve pain points for customers, and these alliance partnerships that we have, and the different engagements, the voice, you talked about the education, the training, all those things. I mean, it's going to be so hard just to sit back, because I'm usually one of the people in the middle of everything. It's going to be hard for me to sit back and watch it, but that's what I'm most excited about, just watching everything that's going to happen.
Mark, what about you?
Well, similar to what Rich said, first and foremost, getting back out on the road and getting in front of our friends, our colleagues, and industry channel partners and whatnot. And one of the nice things, of course, being at a trade show has always been, showcasing our beautiful products and solutions, but not just telling about how great we think they are, listening to them and their reactions. And so I think I'm really most excited about hearing some of the reactions to a lot of these partner engagements and these collaborative solutions we have on the booth, which is quite a bit different than what we've done a lot in the past. So I'm looking forward to hopefully a very positive reaction to that.
Me too. What about you, John?
Well, of course, I'm excited about the products and everything we're going to be showing on the booth. But, as I mentioned before, one of my hats is as the manager of our consultant outreach program, where we call it the ACE initiative, right? And this is really for us, our coming out in terms of being able to get together with the consultants face to face and, spend some time with them. And I think that bringing them together on this panel that we're going to have is really something I'm very excited about. To hear them, to get their honest feedback, and to have them become part of our booth, and for us to become part of their community is something that I'm most excited about.
Thanks, John. And Scott, what are you looking forward to?
Similar to what you heard, I mean, I'm excited that our booth is really going to be dynamic. We're just not talking speeds and feeds. As we said, we're going to have panels, and two that are near and dear to me is our integrator panel. We're going to have several of our integrators up there on a panel talking about how the Sony solutions have fit into many of the projects that they've done and how it's been a success. The other panel, end user, again, a great panel where Sony and everybody in the booth can hear from some of our top end users as far as our product solutions and how they've worked. So again, I think our booth is going to be fantastic this year, and it's going to be different, and it's going to be very engaging and dynamic, and I think it's going to be great.
I agree. And I'm very excited about the fact that we're live streaming a lot of these presentations as well. So if you're at home watching in, or maybe if you don't get to stop by our booth for an entire day, you won't miss out on a thing. So we urge you to check out all of our products and solutions, to learn from our team, to meet with our colleagues, and to join us at InfoComm. We hope to see you in the North Hall at booth N1513. See you soon.